everyone, in this video we will go over identifying internal range and external range and also identifying the daily bias. Let's see what internal range and external range basically is. Internal range is any fair value gap that price comes back to rebalance it, and external range are basically the highs or the lows resting in the markets, also the sell side and the buy side liquidity. Price always does two things. It either goes from external to internal, or price moves from internal range to external range. Let's look at the charts and see how internal and external reacts and identify how to find levels based on the internal range and the external range liquidity. This is DXY's 1 week chart. We have formed a fair value gap here and we have formed a high in our external range. We expect prices to fill this fair value gap and push higher. Our external range gets taken out here. We have formed new fair value gaps on the way. This is our internal range now, and we have formed a new high, our external range right here. We expect price to retrace back in the internal and then push towards the external range. Internal range has been tagged. Now we expect price to push towards external. External range taken here. I hope the concept is clear of what internal and external range and what their relation is. Let's hop onto the charts and find more examples. Let's take our first example. This is GBP CAT weekly chart. We have formed internal range here and we have formed a high, the external range here. Let's mark them out. External range, and we have formed the fair value gap, the internal range right here. We expect prices to return from here towards the internal range and then internal to external. Price takes out the internal. Now we expect prices to push towards the buy side, our external range. External range has been taken now. Now we expect prices to return back to the internal. Now sometimes you won't have a clear internal range on weekly. You can switch time frames and either go to the daily. External taken, internal didn't tag us. Move forward and wait for prices to develop and give us a clear draw. Now we have returned back in this range, in this fair value gap. We do not have a clear area. Let's go in the daily time frame and find an internal range. We found one fair value gap, our daily internal range right here. Let's mark it out. And this is our weekly external range. We expect prices to reverse. External range setting here. We had a good reaction from the daily internal range and now we are heading towards the highs. Internal range formed here as well. We had this as external. The external range has been taken out. Internal, external. The next example is GBP CHF. We took out the external range here. We formed a fair value gap here. We want to see price holding it. Failure to hold it will lead price towards the external range, the high sitting up there. Price fails to hold the internal and is likely to push towards the external. We have formed the internal range here now, the fair value gap, and now we are expecting price to head towards external range here. Now this is our external range now, internal to external. Price taps out the external, internal to external done here. Now we want to see price returning back to the internal and hold it so we can push again towards the external. Price fails to hold the internal, which signals us that price is likely to head lower now. Where are the lows? This is our external range setting lower, and this is the low. External taken, we want to see price return to this internal, so we could expect price from external to internal and then external again. This is the fair value gap. Price takes out the internal now. We want to see price return back to the external range, the lows sitting here, and we have previous lows resting below that. We formed a new fair value gap, the internal to this low, external taken. Another fair value gap formed here, internal all the way towards the external, taking out all the lows here. Another example, odd CHF, we have the weekly chart. Price just took out the external range here. Now we need to see price form a fair value gap, our internal range, and return back there. We form an internal range here, the fair value gap, price taps it. Now we are heading towards external range. Price takes out the external range now, internal to external. Now I want to see price heading back here in this zone and respecting and moving towards the external. Price returns back to this internal range. Now I'm expecting price to push towards external. We have formed internal to external now. A new fair value gap has been formed. Now I expect price to return back to this and then push towards external. New lows have been formed here, a new external range. I want to see price tapping this internal range and heading towards the external. Internal range has been tapped. Now expect price to push towards external range here. Internal range to external lows taken right here. Next pair we have is CAT CHF. We just took down the external range. We are waiting for internal range to external playing out. We formed a fair value gap, our internal range right here. Now we expect prices to retrace back to the internal and head towards external. We also have these lows setting below. For our long-term target, price retraced back in the internal range. Now we expect prices to push towards external. Now let's go to the 4-hour chart and do executions on the 4-hour and find a structure. This is a 4-hour chart for CAT CHF. We want to see price breaking low and entering on the R4 internal range. These are the lows that are formed. Price broke there. Now we have formed a new fair value gap, our internal range, where I will be looking to position as sell. We also have a breaker right here and new lows formed. Our weekly external range sets here. I will be shorting this, stops at the high, targeting a 1 to 2. Target hit on this, and we have the weekly external coming too. We have formed a new internal range right here, this fair value gap, and our external range for the R4 sits at this low. Price takes out our weekly draw and hits our target, and the weekly internal to external play has been done. Our long-term target for the external flow has been taken as well. I hope you found this video insightful. I personally go over the weekly, R4 and 15-minute for executions. Till then, have a good day. I will see you in the next one.